Welcome to Old Nerd Watches a Sci-Fi Cult Classic. Cult classic in question, Colossus, the Forbin Project, a 1970 Universal Pictures release. This movie is kind of making a resurgence. I keep seeing bits and pieces about it on other YouTube channels that I watch, channels that deal with cult classics, sci-fi, old movies, conspiracy theories. This one has it all. This came out in 1970, filmed in 1969, based on a novel that came out in 1966. It didn't do real well when it came out. It was released twice in 1970. In spring of 1970, it was released as just The Forbin Project. They added Colossus to it, and I don't know if they changed anything else about it, but they added Colossus to the title, The Forbin Project. Then they re-released it again in 1970, but in the fall. It never did real well in the theater. And I think I know why. I think it's because the 1970 audience didn't know much about computers or how prophetic this movie actually was. It was written by novelist D.F. Jones. And like I said, it came out in 1966 originally as a novel. D.F. Jones was ex-British naval military officer. He worked during World War II with the Nazi code-breaking computers. So he knew all about what was going on in the computer industry for a good 20 years leading up to writing this book. And so he could see where things were going as far as computers are concerned. And an audience today aware of the internet and artificial intelligence this movie is like pretty much telling you what's about to happen possibly if we don't mind our P's and Q's with unleashing the Frankenstein's monster of artificial intelligence combined with the internet. It's a very good movie. It's basically pretty reflective of the films at the time, kind of a Cold War spy thriller type movie. Supposedly set in the 1990s, though, I believe. At least in the novel, I think it's set in the 1990s. I don't remember if the movie specifies what year it takes place in. But really good movie. Very, very good as far as the genre that it's in. I don't know that it's so much sci-fi as it is Cold War spy thriller, a lot of other movies that came out in the late 60s, early 70s along the same kind of lines. Not exactly the computer, but the international aspect of it. Because in this movie, the U.S. creates a supercomputer that ends up talking to a similar supercomputer made by the Soviet Union. And then those two computers link up and decide to take over the world. It's a very, very good movie. First time I've ever watched it. I only recently heard about it within not even a year. I never knew this movie even existed. Apparently it was on TV a lot throughout the 70s. And I maybe I saw bits and pieces of it when I was a little kid, but I don't remember. I don't remember this movie at all. But when I was watching the credits, I hardly recognized any names. The only name that I recognized in the credits was Marion Ross, who 4 years after this movie came out would go on to be Marion Cunningham in Happy Days on TV. A couple other faces I recognized, but I didn't know their names. James Hong. James Hong had a small part in this. He's famous for Big Trouble in Little China. He was also in Blade Runner. Another face I recognized, George Stanford Brown. He was in both of the Roots miniseries in the late 70s. Once you see his face, if you watch older movies, you'll kind of recognize he's popped up in a lot of things. Eric Braeden, who I had no idea who that was. He was famous for The Young and the Restless. He was in the soap opera The Young and the Restless for a long time, I guess. He's the star of the movie. The director, Joseph Sargent, he was an actor turned director. He did a lot of He did a few Man from Uncle episodes back in the day. He did a really famous Star Trek episode, directed all this stuff. And his biggest feature film that he directed was the original taking of Pelham 123. Uh, Very good movie, highly recommended. This is the Shout Factory, Scream Factory edition. Sells for, I don't know, $22 to $25, I guess. But this is one worth watching or adding to your collection if you're a Blu-ray collector like myself. Not very many special features on this guy. Has a little interview with Eric Braeden in it, and that's pretty interesting. It has an audio commentary with Jeff Bond. He's an author. I'm not sure what his credentials are, but I listened to about half of that. That was pretty informative. Overall, this movie is well worth your time if you're a sci-fi fan or just a conspiracy theory nut. This movie is very it predicted the future, very real possible future, especially now. So give it a shot if you can find it. I don't think it's streaming anywhere, but you can find copies of a DVD or this Blu-ray online. So there it is. Thanks for watching.